So follow up to the last question. Um, some religions or many practices, it's like a lifelong commitment. You do this, and there's their progressions or stages, and you know, it's, you know, uh, and in some practices talk about there's no progress. It's instantaneous. Um, and the notion of progress itself is part of the delusion. Um, so what I've never asked you, what do you think of those two different approaches or models maybe?
So um, both both things can be functioning at the same time. Uh, for example, um, ultimately, there's no hierarchy of levels. There's no progression of higher levels of consciousness. Because ultimately, we were talking earlier about pure consciousness. There are no levels in pure consciousness.
Mm,
There, because that's all there is. Again, because it's non-dual, there are no distinctions there. Levels are distinctions and gradation. This one's better than this one. This one's better than this one, and so on. So the the highest level can't be a level at all. You see, it has to be the reality in which all other levels exist. And those levels are marked by emptiness.
mm.
In other words, they're not fundamentally real. That doesn't mean they can't be helpful on the path. It just means they aren't fundamentally real, and nor is any level the goal of the spiritual path. In the same way that no realm on the wheel of samsara is the goal on the spiritual path. Your goal is not to get to the God realm. Your goal is to go beyond the wheel altogether. In the same way, your goal is not to get to the highest level. Your goal is to transcend levels altogether. Now, on the path to doing that, progressing along a series of practices or steps or stages could be helpful. But not absolutely necessary. It could be necessary for a particular person. Each person's path to the truth itself is unique to them because their delusion is unique to them. So how to unwind all of that is particular to that person. Even if you're practicing within a particular tradition, you're still lost in a very unique way.
I find this interesting. Um, in in our experience, we practice seriously. We have little markers where we say, "Oh, this, I did this retreat and blah blah blah," um, and um, the final passage to we'll call it pure consciousness again is always instantaneous. It's not
Yeah.
so. Um, and you look. What I hear is you look backwards and you say, "Oh, that instantaneous uh, recognition." I look backwards and it was always there, uh, but I just didn't see it then until now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Why didn't you see it?
because you're wafting in delusion.
It's a very negative way of putting it, but yeah, yeah,
Well, you think that's not we're trained to be conceptual beings,
yeah, yeah. It's yeah,
and um, we we love our conceptual reality.
yeah, yeah.
It's
So
hard.
Bruce, you once asked me, you know, is there anything beyond what you've realized? Uh, and and I said no. There's
You
nothing.
said,
Yeah.
I'm still not sure of your answer.
Okay. That's why I brought it up. I think maybe I can convince you of why I said this answer. And so the question is really about knowledge, about really about subject-object knowledge, and so there are many people who know things that I don't know. There are many people who have experienced things that I haven't experienced. Right? I've never driven a Formula One car. I've never skydived out of an airplane. There's a lot of things I've never experienced. And this could be true about various states of meditation, about uh, visions, about all kinds. The list of things I have never experienced is infinite.
Right.
Okay, and this same is true of knowledge. There are many people who are better at math than I am, who know more about science than I do, who know more about Buddhism than I do, or know more about Advaita than I do, or there are many people who know things that I don't know. But no one knows less than I do. And that's why I say there's nothing beyond what I've realized.
And you say that because you know emptiness.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that to me. I say
What,
that.
do you see how it's connected to this question of levels?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, the highest level can't be a level at all. And
Right.
so it has to be that which encompasses all levels, no matter what they are. So I may not know what all those levels are, but I know that in which they are contained.
Right. So there might be someone who can look at a body, assess an illness, and heal it with their
Yes, yes, and I can't do that. I don't know how to do that.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
uh, there's another saying I really like. Nisargadatta said, expressed it this way. Somebody asked him about like that. Can you read people's minds? Can you, heal the sick and so on and so forth? And he said, I am like a grower of wheat. About cakes and breads, I don't know so much. But about the source, I know well and all.
Uh,
Same, it's the same exact idea. Yeah.
yeah.